All right, welcome back. Safe, Efficient, Profitable Worker Safety Podcast. Today, we're going to give you one item that is a great indication that you can evaluate how often you use this item. And I think that there's a direct correlation with risk to your facility for injury. So, all right, let's go.
One item. So this thing has what chemical?
So we use it with chemical,
water.
We use it with water, and we use it a lot of times to do the word clean something. So whether that's scoop out stuff or wash stuff down or whatever, we usually use this in conjunction.
Can it be elevated?
Can
it be stored?
Yep. We have
can we drove over?
Yeah, we can drive over. We have a lot of injuries with this in regards to turning the item on, turning it off, and
general
moving
use
it from location to location.
Absolutely.
Along with, you said elevation, and that is hoses.
All right. Woo. There we go.
So if you really kind of back up and think, most locations that manufacture a product have to clean at some point. And a lot of times water is used with that. So whether that be washdowns at my barns, whether that be power washing, whether that be
housekeeping,
washing down mill.
We call it housekeeping at some places.
Housekeeping at a mill. Obviously sanitation at the plants. We use water or we use chemical and we use hoses, and we're having a lot of injuries around hose handling, or maybe not the best hose handling, we'll say.
So these are just a random list, no particular order of things to go look for. So you should do an evaluation. These are things to go, let me check, see if I have this, if I have this. And then that will tell you other parts of your program.
You may be having at your facility. We'll give some solutions at the end. So just hang in there with us and let's just dive right in. Here we go.
Number one is ladders.
Yeah, you said elevation.
Yeah.
100%.
So if that hose is held by somebody and they're standing on a ladder, but the hose goes between their legs, somebody accidentally or under their feet, and someone accidentally pulls the hose back here, it throws them off the ladder.
Well, and also just considering things like what your 3 points of contact rules are. Is it 2 hands?
How'd you even get up there? How did you get down?
Are you requiring them to use 2 hands?
Does it have to be running the whole time, or can you turn it off?
Yeah. What's going on with that? And I'll actually throw one in here too, and that's used in a scissor lift.
Absolutely.
Using hoses in a scissor lift. I know that there's been some pretty significant events over that in history.
So that elevated one,
it can actually pull the entire lift over.
That elevated work concept, you got to look at. So we'll give solutions in the end, but the point of it is
hoses at elevation. That's definitely one, whether it be ladders or any kind of PIT aerial lift.
Absolutely. Hot hoses, hot water. That's random. Not just daytime, nighttime, because there's no word of what hot is.
It's hot.
So people have different amounts, what they call it. Hot changes during the day too. Sometimes it can be cooler and you're using it. All of a sudden it gets real hot and you're not ready for it.
Yeah. So obviously has to do a little bit, talk to your utilities, boilers.
You can be cleaning and the water temperature change. You're spraying something that's coming back on you, and that can you're not ready for that.
Well, and again, it really depends how hot are you running your water, using your boilers and your steams and stuff. So also, everybody thinks that the water that I use, it melts skin off.
Yeah.
And, if it's anything above lukewarm, my kids feel like they've just been burned to pieces.
Absolutely.
So, everybody has a different thought process on what hot is. So we need to maybe look at evaluating.
Yeah. The size hose determines the weight.
Oh,
so how long it is, how the diameter of it is weight.
And the length.
Because now I'm carrying this heavy hose up. You would never carry a fire hose somewhere, but people will have the same way.
That's right. Through hallways, through all these
by yourself.
Yeah, you got maybe now to get to my.
They get caught on equipment down here. Someone's pulling it.
Catwalk up a catwalk down.
Think of how long the hose are. What we expect. That's correct.
Maybe just
shorten it up.
The size, diameter, and like you say, where are we all storing them?
That's great. Pressure. Pressure's a big one because pressure can change during the night. Does the pumps turn on and off, and how many are being used, or what rooms are being cleaned in what order? Length of the hose can change the pressure. Diameter of the hose can change the pressure. People don't think about that. They're doing a job and all of a sudden it takes off on, like power washers. They'll be cleaning something that changes on them.
There's been some events associated with too high a pressure.
Absolutely.
Or significantly more pressure than the user thought.
Transport at the end of the job.
Yeah.
That's when we see a lot of injuries. The hose weighs a lot. It's heavy.
Gets caught on something. You kind of tug at it. Yeah.
Yep. You get tired and it's big. It's a lot of stuff to carry at one time. All right. The next one I have is the weird product changeover. What that means is maybe we clean the parking lot. Maybe we clean the production line real quick for 30 minutes, but you don't want to get anything else wet. You're just doing one little area. So you may grab this hose that doesn't work or that hose or have to climb over something or something maybe run. It's weird stuff like that where if you do normal sanitation, we may lock everything out. But if it's running during the day and do a product changeover, they may should clean one belt. And because it could be a chemical, it could be water. And then you're looking at where's that chemical. You may wear something different at night during sanitation, but use the same chemical during the day and not wear as much because I'm doing it real quick. It's only 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, I think the thing that we also need to keep in mind is depending on how you do your chemicals, right? So some are foamers, some are hard plumbed, and so you're actually hooking up to
like an inline
situation on a wall.
Yep.
And depending on if you have the same hose color for chemical or different for water, if you differentiate, they may grab a hose that has a whole length of chemical in it.
Correct.
And
hasn't been
not
cleaned
be ready
out
for that.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been cleaned out with water and they're not wearing the right PPE for that or they're not ready for that. There can be an injury there. Absolutely. Especially if they're grabbing one that was sanitations real quick and they're using it on day shift.
Absolutely.
Like you said, to do a washdown or something.
Another one is training overall on it because everybody's like, why do you have training on everybody owns a hose?
Yeah. Like, we used to,
It's kind of like the ladder. Why do you need to train a ladder? Because you do.
Yeah. We also have a conversation about knife handling training. This is kind of the same thing because it can cause a lot of not
ergonomics, but it can cause ergonomic issues.
It can, but there is a significant amount of ergo issues. This is where your ergo stuff of like the weight, the shoulder, the back, the hand, based
how many
on
gloves
the
I'm
nozzle,
wearing. Yes.
Based on how your nozzles are, that can be a real problem. That can be a huge hand issue in terms of being inflammation in there.
Absolutely.
And just lots of pain and discomfort from an ergo side.
It can be hot, cold, wet.
And
I can't hold it well. It's hours. It's pressure. I'm trying to do it in a certain angle and hold it out there.
And sometimes based on, like you said, the pressure and how large your hand is or whatever, that changes the comfort, how you can hold that nozzle. But there is a little bit of vibration in there. So it's all the things from an ergonomic standpoint that you would say are not great, right?
And then you decide to spray it overhead. So now you got PPE issues.
Yeah,
so maybe it's chemical or maybe it's water. Yeah, we see people that wear like a coat like this shirt here, and they'll just be pouring the chemical water. Well, that's gross all night long or all day.
Yeah.
So even where you apply, you may be fine where you're at now. You got to look at where it's at.
Or worse, yeah.
Look at where you're spraying it at.
Yeah. Look at the angle where they're standing to actually use the hose itself. So maybe they do need to have an elevated platform so that they can get a different angle on it and it's not just raining.
That's a solution. Face. How about having a different connection point for them?
Yeah, change your connection points, change where they're able to stand so it kind of can change their PPE, change the length and the diameter to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Maybe look at different storage locations so they're not having to tote it as
the
far.
length of the hose.
Maybe look at different things like I can roll this cart out that has it.
Maybe I put it in a tote at the end of the day and use a forklift or a pallet jack, take it off the floor.
Yep, absolutely. So there's different solutions or different options.
So these are our opinions. Do an evaluation. Don't take our word for it. Evaluate your stuff. Go look at what you have. Look at your risk.
Basically, the more hose handling at elevation and you start adding layers, your risk is going to go up.
Correct.
So that's what you're really looking for is how often are we doing cleaning processes? How often are we using
what can we do to eliminate it?
What other layers are we adding? And is there a way that we can make it a little bit more user-friendly?
Absolutely.
So if you want more information, Joe and I do, and our team for that matter, do sanitation audits, cleaning audits, things like that, evaluations, if you will. I don't love the word audit because it's not really what it is.
We're there to see how to make your process run safer.
Yeah, it's more like a behavior-based safety type approach. It's
what can we do to eliminate the risk?
I'm not looking at your paperwork in your office.
Yeah, we want to know how to reduce risk.
Yeah, let's work it through real time together and kind of walk through some solutions. So if that sounds awesome, like I said, allen-safety.com. You can reach out over there. Otherwise, allensafetycoaching.com has some really great resources as well. That's our coaching site. And again, with that, you get free email-based coaching. So really great value if an in-person visit is not in the budget. And I think that's it for today.
That's our episode.
All right, guys, take care. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Safe, Efficient, Profitable, a worker safety podcast. If you're looking for more in-depth discussions or step-by-step solutions on all of the different safety and regulatory topics, please visit us at www.allensafetycoaching.com for web-based virtual coaching and training, or at www.allen-safety.com to book our team for on-site services, training sessions, to order merchandise, to learn more about our team and what services we provide in the field, or just simply to request a topic for us to cover on our next podcast. If you found today's podcast helpful and would like to support our podcast further, please help us by subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast with anyone that could benefit from the information we cover here, as that helps us to continue to put out this free content. Thank you so much for your support.